Hello everyone, I think we're ready for another lesson on different kinds of measurement. Today's lesson is lesson 3, and this is customary units of capacity. I'm going to try to keep this lesson a little shorter than the last one. The last one went a little bit long. And also, it was brought to my attention that I made a mistake on one of the questions. Let me go back and see which one it was. Somewhere along the way, I said that I can't find it, that 21 foot is 3 yards. Somewhere I said that, and I messed, that was a mistake. So if you caught that mistake, good for you, but I'm not seeing where it is. 21 feet and 3 yards. Oh, right. So it should say there are, I see what happened here. I think it might be a mistake in the book. I think this should have been 7 yards here. Regardless, no big deal. Let's move on now to lesson 3 though, customary units of capacity. And to do this lesson, you're going to need your foldable that we did the other day, and you're going to go to the capacity section. It's here and here, okay? If you had folded your book and all that, it would be side by side. I didn't though. There is one cool little type thing that you can do for capacity. I don't know if anybody's ever seen like, oh shoot, it's like called Gallon Man or something like that. So basically you've got 1 gallon, and then for every gallon there's 4 quarts, and then in every quart there's 2 pints. So you put that like this, and then for every pint it is 2 cups. So in each of these, which I don't have enough room for, you put your 2 C's for your 2 cups. And then you know that there's 4 cups in each quart and 16 cups in the gallon and all of that. Let me get a bigger piece of paper to show you guys that on, just because I think that's a pretty beneficial little something to know. I have a package of paper here. Let me get that opened and then I'll show you that. It might be called something like King Gallon, and he's got his princesses and queens and his court and all of that. So I have this just paper that was laying here, so let me use that. So let's do this before we get into the lesson. Look at me, I said I was going to keep the lesson short, and here I go talking again. I'm a big talker. So let's say we've got our Gallon King or something, and then for every gallon there are 4 quarts. But we're going to say that this king has 4 queens, okay? And then for every queen, there are 2 princesses. So we're going to put those princesses inside of there. And then for every princess, there are 2 cups. So we're going to put our C's in there, and this is the royal court, the C's. Okay. And then, you know, we could even go down a little farther, but, honestly, there's not, that much room to write, but we know that for every cup, there are, 8 ounces. So, you know, essentially we could maybe make 8s in here so that we know that those are how many ounces are in each of those. And that's going to let us know how many ounces are in a full gallon and all of that fun stuff. So knowing this little picture can help you with the whole lesson, or you can use your chart, okay? In my head, I think that this is a little bit easier. As we work through this, though, we'll kind of refer to both so that everybody has something that they can use. You know, sometimes I like something that my students don't like, or sometimes they like something and, you know, maybe the other person at their table doesn't like something. So it's all about just finding what works for you. So let's get into this lesson, and then we'll kind of show you how this works, okay? So maybe right now you're like, what are you talking about? So let's see. The amount of liquid a container can hold is its capacity. So if you've never heard the word capacity before, we now know that it's the amount of liquid a container can hold. Different containers measure different capacities. So for example, I think this is like a little nail polish bottle. It's showing that it's probably about 1 ounce. And then you probably have a cup that looks like this in your kitchen. The one in my kitchen actually holds 2 cups. But you would use this to measure cups. A small thing of milk, like a small carton. They used to have the small cartons in schools, but now it's more like the plastic bottles. Those are usually like a pint. If you get one of the large milk containers that's like a carton, it's usually a quart. And then if you get one of the big mamas here, one of those big things of milk, that's usually a gallon. Sometimes you can buy a half gallon, but those big ones, those are a gallon. Okay, so this just kind of gives you a visual of like how big each of these things are. Let's go ahead and look at example 1. It says Jorge is filling an aquarium. Which container should Jorge use to fill his aquarium most quickly? So think about how big an aquarium is. Would you use a measuring cup that looks like this, or one of these measuring cups that holds a quart, or one of these that holds a gallon? Okay. To fill the aquarium most quickly, Jorge should use the container that will hold the most liquid. The blank is the largest unit. It will fill the aquarium most quickly. So the right here, the gallon is the biggest. So we're going to write gallon right here. Gallon. There we go. All right. So just keep that in mind, that the gallon is about the size of a milk jug, or it is the size of a milk jug. I shouldn't say about. All right, let's move on to the next page. So it looks like for these, we're just figuring out what's the most reasonable measurement. We're not converting measurements. Maybe that's in the next lesson that we're going to use this. I'm going to set it to the side. I got ahead of myself. Sometimes I do that. All right, let's look at example 2. Nita is pouring salsa into a small bowl. It is the most reasonable estimate for the capacity of a bowl: 8 ounces, 8 cups, 8 quarts, or 8 gallons. So it says the salsa is a small amount. So 8 gallons, think of that. 8 milk jugs full, that's going to be way too much salsa, which I think I could probably eat because I love salsa. But that's going to be a little much. 8 quarts, think about back here. This is a quart, like one of those milk cartons. That's a lot of salsa. That's going to be way too much to fill a bowl. Then we've got cups. So 8 cups would be like, this cup measuring spoon type thing. And you would fill 8 of those to fill that bowl of salsa. So, hello, that's a lot. No, that's not gonna work. So the most reasonable estimate for the capacity of the bowl is not gonna be cups. It's not gonna be quarts. It's not gonna be gallons. It's going to be ounces. So ounces. So if you think about ounces back here, we said a bottle of fingernail polish is usually about the size of 1 ounce. And if you had 8 of those full of salsa, which is weird to think about a fingernail polish bottle full of salsa, but if you can visualize that, go ahead. And then you poured all that into a bowl, they think that's a good size serving of salsa. For myself, that's not enough salsa. I love salsa. All right. Let's look down here at these and see if we can kind of figure out what the best measurements are. It says, choose the most reasonable estimate for each capacity. So we have a little fish bowl. All right. It says, would we fill a fish bowl with 1 ounce, 1 pint, 1 quart, or 100 quarts? So to keep this visual in my head, 1 ounce is a fingernail polish bottle. That fish is not gonna have enough water if that's all I use. If I use 1 pint, it's like a small milk container. They're like this big. I'm not sure where my hand is. They're like this big. So that's probably not gonna be enough to fill that fish bowl. Now, if we go with 1 quart, that's gonna be like one of those tall milk jugs or milk cartons. So that's a reasonable answer. Let me see what my other choice is. 100 quarts, that would be 100 of these. That's going to be way too much. So my best choice on this one is definitely going to be 1 quart as the best measurement. So let's move on to number 2. We've got a pitcher. Okay. You would pour your lemonade or Kool-Aid or something, iced tea. Would I fill it with 4 ounces, 10 cups, 400 cups, or 10 gallons? Well, I can tell you right off the top of my head that 10 gallons, whew, that would fill a fish tank, you know, back here. Okay. 400 cups, that would be 400 of these. That's a lot. That's going to be way too much for this jug. Okay, 10 cups. Possible. 10 cups is possible. Let me see what my other choice is. 4 ounces. 4 ounces is 4 of my fingernail polish bottles full. That's going to fill me up to maybe right here. So that's probably not going to be enough. So I think that my best choice is definitely going to be 10 cups to fill this jug. Okay. I'm looking at this picture. I am not sure what it is. It reminds me of eyeshadow, but I don't think they're going to give me that as an option. If it was eyeshadow, I'd probably choose an ounce. I'm still looking. Oh, okay. I think it's paint. I like it. I don't want to say, but like if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy paint, it's in a bucket and they're usually a certain size, and you would say, oh, I'm going to go get a blank of paint, a gallon of paint, right? I think that's what that is. So if it were eyeshadow, I would have chosen an ounce, but I'm 99.9% sure they're not talking about eyeshadow in this book. A cup, if it's paint, probably not. A pint, you can buy pints of paint, but I think in this case, this is a gallon. They weren't real clear on their picture there, but for me, for this lesson, I think a gallon is a sufficient answer. All right, let's go through and look at this. Now this right here is where I want to be. There's palm trees, it's warm, and they have a pool. Now, I have a pool out back in my backyard, but it's 40 degrees today, and I'm not really getting to utilize the pool in the 40-degree weather. I wish I was here, wherever this may be. But let's talk about how much water we need to have to fill up this pool. 12 ounces. Let's think about that. 12 fingernail polish bottles full of water. Not going to get us very far, is it? 1 gallon, 1 milk jug poured into the pool. Not going to get us very far. 12 gallons, 12 milk jugs poured in the pool. Still not getting us very far. So it's probably going to be 12,000 gallons. That sounds like a huge number, but it takes a ton of water to fill a pool. When we fill our pool up at my house, if we ever empty it sometimes and have to refill it, it takes days to refill. So 12,000 gallons is definitely the best answer on that one. This is a bucket, like a mop bucket, looks like maybe. We could fill it with 2 ounces, 2 cups, 2 pints, 2 gallons. What do you guys think? I definitely don't think it's ounces. That's way too little. 2 cups, way too little. 2 pints, that might be enough to give me some mop water, but if I want to fill the bucket, I want to use 2 gallons. All right. This looks like maybe some Dimetap or something for when you get a little cold, and your mom pours it on a spoon. So how much do you think you're taking when it's on that spoon? It might taste like a gallon, but I bet it's not, because Dimetap's probably not the best tasting thing. I know I can't stand it. Ugh. But it's not a gallon, even though it tastes that way. A quart, think about that. That's, the milk, that's not a quart. A cup, which is a good amount, not a cup. It's definitely just an ounce, even though, like I said, it probably seems like more because Dimetap is not the best tasting stuff in the world. All right, on number 7, I think this is a juice box is what this looks like. So a juice box, that you might, like maybe some high C, kind of reminds me of a high C box. If I were drinking a juice box, would I drink ounces, cups, pints, or gallons? Well, think about how if you get something, a juice box, and it usually says like how much is in it on the container. It's likely just going to tell you how many ounces. Think, 8 fingernail polish bottles would probably fill that. So I do think that ounces is the best choice there. Now, this is an easy one because it's a milk carton. Well, looky here is a milk carton. So how big is the milk carton here? Probably the same size as this milk carton here, 1 quart. Usually the cartons of milk come in 1 quart. So we can cross out those other answer choices. Then number 9, we've just got like a cup. You go to your kitchen and you grab a drink that looks like maybe some Coca-Cola in there. I'm not really sure what they've got. So a cup, you know, that you're drinking from, is it going to be about 16 gallons, 16 quarts, 16 ounces, or 16 cups? Now, 16 gallons, I don't know, I'm taking a guess, but I think 16 gallons would probably fill a bathtub. So that's not it. 16 quarts is going to be like 16 of these. That is not it. 16 ounces, possible, but let's look at my next choice. 16 cups. Yeah, that's going to be a lot. So my best choice here is 16 ounces, which means this cup would probably hold about double the amount of a juice box. Okay. All right. So this one says, estimate the capacity of each object. So I'm going to estimate, what a water bottle is. And if you are like me and you try to drink as much water in a day as you possibly can, you've probably taken a gander at a water bottle before. And I don't even need to estimate how much is in a water bottle, because they literally almost always have 16.9 ounces. So that's very specific. But for me, I didn't even have to estimate, because I know pretty much they all have 16.9 ounces. Some of them might have 20 ounces. But generally, just like a regular old Tyler Mountain Spring water or something like that is going to have 16.9 ounces. Number 11 is kind of funny, because they just asked you about this in number 7 there, about how much is the capacity of a juice box. Well, 8 ounces. They just told me that. I didn't really need to do much thinking there. The next one is a sink. Now, I have a really big sink. I'm not sure if they're talking about the kitchen sink or if they're talking about the bathroom sink. I'm going to assume they're talking about the kitchen sink. So if I were filling my kitchen sink, goodness, I feel like I could dump, I don't know, at least 10 milk jugs in there. I feel like, I don't know. So this one is kind of, you know, how big's your sink? You got to make your own little guesstimation on that one. I'm going to guess 10 gallons on my sink, because it's one of the kinds that isn't split down the middle. It's just like this one big sink. I feel like I could get at least 10 gallons in there. I don't know. You know, make your best guess for your sink at your house. Number 13, is it faster to water 2 large flower pots using a 1-cup pitcher or a 1-quart pitcher? Well, let's think about this. Which is bigger, a cup or a quart? Let's go back and refer in case we forgot. This is a cup. This is a quart. Which one's going to water our plants faster? The quart. So let's put 1 quart, and you can abbreviate that with QT, and then 1 quart pitcher. All right, let's finish up this lesson, guys. All right, back here, we got some problem solving to do, it says. Some household activities and the amount of water they consume are listed in the table. Use the table for exercises 14 and 15. So we're going to use this table to answer these questions. Let's just kind of look at the table first. This is water consumption, and then the activity, and then how many gallons of water it uses, okay? Number 14, if Callie takes 1 shower each day, is it reasonable to say that she could use 210 gallons of water in 1 week? Explain. So let's think about this. If 1 shower is 15 to 30 gallons of water, okay? In 1 week, let's just say 1 week equals 7 days. Okay. I already kind of see an easy answer to this, because I don't, if I multiplied out 15 times 7, I'm going to get 105, I think. But if I multiply 3 times 7, I get 21, and then I add the 0, which is 210. So is it reasonable to think that she might use that much water every week? Yes, if she takes long showers, right? Because, 30 gallons is like my highest point. Yes, if she takes long showers. So if she takes the long showers and uses the most water, she's probably going to use 30 gallons of water a day. And if she showers every single day, that's going to be 7 days times 30 gallons. 7 times 3 is 21, and you add your 0. And that matches up with the number they're asking us about, okay? If she only takes 15-minute showers, then she's only going to use half of that amount of water, which I said was 105, I think. Yeah, it is. Sorry. I'm filming this video late at night again, and see what happened last time when I did that. I messed up, so I hope I don't mess up in this lesson. Number 15, let's use this chart again. Callie brushes her teeth 3 times a day. Wow, she's awesome. She leaves the water running. Not supposed to do that. Is it reasonable to say that she uses 2 cups of water in one day? So if she brushes her teeth with water running, she's using 1 to 2 gallons of water each time. So hello, she's washing brushing her teeth 3 times a day. Let's say that she uses those 2 gallons of water. So that means she's using up to 6 gallons of water a day brushing her teeth. So, is it reasonable to say that she's using 2 cups of water in one day? Yeah, she's using 2 cups, but she's using way over 2 cups, right? Because, she's using, let me turn back to our little reference guide here. She's using 6 of these, not 2 of these, right? So she's getting there with that water. She's a water waster. All right, let's look at number 16. Name 2 things in your classroom that can hold more than 1 cup. Well, this is a sad question, isn't it? We're not there. Maybe you can name 2 things in your house that can hold more than 1 cup. So I'm not going to give you answers on this one because you can look around your own house and see maybe some things in your house that could hold more than 1 cup. Number 17, Alexander estimates the capacity of a small soup can to be about 1 fluid ounce. Find and correct his mistake. So think about Campbell's chicken noodle soup. That's a family favorite. So if you like Campbell's chicken noodle soup, you might be familiar with the size of the can. It's about this tall. Is it reasonable to think that that is 1 ounce? Remember, 1 ounce is the size of a fingernail polish bottle. So that's not right. So instead of 1 ounce, maybe a can of chicken noodle soup might hold, do you think it's going to hold 1 cup, 1 quart, 1 pint, or 1 gallon? To me, I'm trying to think about a thing of chicken noodle soup. It's going to be somewhere between a cup and a pint. I feel like they're usually like 12 ounces, which is like a cup and a half. So I don't know. I might go with 1 cup. I feel like I'm wrong on that though. 1 cup or 1 pint would probably be a reasonable answer on that one. I guess it just depends on the soup. You know, Campbell's chicken noodle soup's kind of small, but if you get like the Progresso chicken noodle soup, it's a lot larger. Again, it's just, you know, they need to be a little more specific in these questions. Question 18, what is the difference between length and capacity? So let's think about the definition of length. Length is how long something is, and capacity is, let's just go back to the right here. Capacity, the amount of liquid a container can hold. So the difference is length is how long something is, and capacity is how much it can hold. Okay, so again, if you're in my class, do the homework page, have somebody in your house check you, and then do the self-check on Schoology. If you're not in my class, thank you for watching our video. I hope I have been entertaining enough to keep your attention. We'll be back tomorrow with a new lesson, and the next lesson is on converting, which is where this is going to come in. I got ahead of myself, but I already have this ready, and maybe you do too. So we'll be converting next time. I hope everybody is having a great week, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.